I wanted to do a PhD and get into academia in a big way, but life had planned it out differently, and I came back and got into an industry which was just not part of my canvas at that time.
You're watching Hustlr Stories with Ambika Anand. My guest today is Shradha Suri Marwa. She is the chairperson and managing director of SUBROS Limited, one of the key players in automotive air conditioning systems. And thanks to all her experience, she is also the president of ACMA, which stands for Automotive Components Manufacturers Association. Thank you so much for your time, Shradha.
Thank you for having me.
Now, SUBROS Limited has a turnover of 2,806 crores for the financial year 2022-23. Tell us a bit about SUBROS.
So SUBROS is actually a joint venture with Denso Japan, Suzuki and the Indian promoters. We're also listed on the Indian Stock Exchange. We are in the business of design and manufacturing of the thermal systems that go into passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles and railways. We have been around for about 38 years and are market leaders in our domain.
Now let's go back to where it all began. You studied at Delhi University. Yeah. Did you always want to be a part of the automotive industry?
So, I went to school here in Delhi, and then I did economics at Delhi University, then went away to England and did 2 masters. And finally graduated from the London School of Economics. Did a short stint of work there for about a year and then came back. The journey in SUBROS has been 22 years long, and it's been a very, very interesting journey. I started out, actually implementing the IT systems. We were implementing SAP way back in 2002, and through that process I actually learned, the process of manufacturing and the product, etc. And then, the journey just went on from there, and it kept going.
What was your dream back then?
Actually, it was only academics, because I wanted to do a PhD and get into academia in a big way. But life had planned it out differently, and I came back and got into an industry which was just not part of my canvas at that time.
I personally love to talk to women in leadership, because I really want to dig deep into what does it take to kind of shatter the glass ceiling and reach on top. So take us through your journey.
When I joined SUBROS, there were about 3 women, including me.
And how many men?
I think there were about 2,000
wow.
or so men. Today it's very different. We have about 6,000 people working, and 8% of our workforce is women. Some of our units have gone up to more than 12%. We target to go to 17%. So I think the way our sector is moving, it's no longer just manufacturing. It's it's the whole mobility space. There's a lot more design that's happening, and a lot more testing and validation, and it's becoming more and more attractive and exciting. As I went along, I stopped thinking of me as male or female. I think what's important is one must go on skill rather than gender. I think that's very yesterday.
That is true. And so how is it for you to be the first woman president of ACMA? What does it mean to you? Or as you said, it's no longer about gender, it's about skill.
So actually I'm not the first, I'm the second. We did have a woman president, I understand, way back in the early 1970s. But it's taken them 50 years from there on to have a second woman leader of ACMA. And we have a strong pipeline coming up. So there are a lot more women in our regional committees, etc., who are women.
I'm always curious to know, what does it take to make a great leader? Did you always identify as one, or is it something you learned?
I don't know whether you identify as a leader or you just fall into that role. But even in my younger days, I had small leadership positions in school, even in college. But when I joined the business, I didn't join as a leader. I mean, I joined just as one of the many. What actually brings you to leadership is how you treat people. I think people are the most important assets of any organization. Leadership comes with that interaction. Respect comes from there.
What's a typical day in your life like?
Very hectic. So I have 3 kids. Two of them are in boarding school. I have a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a soon-to-be 12-year-old. My day starts very early. I'm an early riser, about 5-ish, and I think 3 days out of 7, I am usually dropping my youngest, who's a swimmer at the national level, to her swim class at 5:30.
Wow.
I do try and work out at least 5 days, if not 6, and then I'm out of the house by about 9. And the day can end any time between 7 and 10, depending upon what work is happening. I do try to take it a bit easy on some Saturdays so that I can spend more time with the youngest one. And that's how it goes.
Where do you think India stands in the auto sector today?
It's very exciting times. India is poised at a very, very strong position. I believe, and we all believe, this is our decade. With the rest of the world going into a bit of a chaos, whether it's geopolitical or it's about how mobility is pivoting towards alternate fuel, India stands strong. We not only are a nation which has a huge captive domestic demand, but also we are ready to actually cater to the rest of the world. So it's very exciting times.
Innovation is at the heart of the automotive industry. How do you approach innovation?
So I think innovation is very, very critical. As an organization, you'll only get the edge if you actually innovate. And what I mean by innovation is not just application engineering, it's actual real-time design. That's what gives you the edge. Any industry today needs to invest in R&D. We don't invest enough as a nation, but we do need to. And that's where that'll actually help us leapfrog, to the next level.
But since you said this is the decade of India, do you see a lot of people now increasingly invest into R&D?
Absolutely. It's not just the Indian organizations, also the global organizations are investing in a lot of R&D. We have some of the world's largest R&D centers across sectors now in India. Global capability centers are coming here. So there's a lot that's happening, and you will see that in the next 5 years, we will emerge as one of the design leaders in the world.
Currently, there's so much focus on sustainability.
Correct.
Can you tell us about your role in promoting and championing the goal?
Sustainability is not just a buzzword anymore. It is something, it's a reality. We owe it to ourselves and to the next generation. We need to work on waste reduction. We need to work on material circularity. There's a lot that we need to do. As an organization, we have very clear goals. We made a 10-year roadmap because sustainability won't happen overnight. And it has to be in every part of the business. So as an organization, we're doing a lot. It's also mandated now for most listed organizations to have their ESG and sustainability goals in place. Customers are now demanding it as a prerequisite. So as time will go by, sustainability will become as critical as quality is.
What is your attitude towards risk?
No pain, no gain. It's very simple. Risk has calculated risk, but you have to take the risk. You have to take that punt if you need to grow.
Is there an anecdote you can share from your life where you wanted to take a risk, but it was against the norm or the advice that you were given, but you went ahead, took the risk, and that risk proved to be successful?
We at SUBROS started investing in technology, I think more than 18 years ago. It was something that at that time people didn't do it, but we did. And it's because of that we've been able to actually sustain our market leadership. Otherwise, we would have perished long ago.
Was there any advice given to you not to do something in something particular?
Investment in R&D involves a lot of money. So the advice that was coming through is that we need to go slow, we need to be more calculated about it. We don't know what's going to be the return that we get out of it. What we decided, me and my team, we said, no, we're going to take this, we're going to actually put the money, take the risk, and invest in it. And with R&D came, not only did we get the edge in the market, it also brought us scale. It also helped us actually develop another, we developed another company through which, we've actually started exporting. So there was a lot that came with R&D, a lot of learning came with R&D.
But nobody really said no. But I mean, was there any other decision, any other risk you remember taking?
So in 2016, we had a massive fire in one of our units, and the unit came to naught. It was one of our largest units, and it was a direct supply to one of our largest OEMs. At that time, the advice that was given to me was that, let's go back and, go back to the customer. We can't do this, there's too much money involved. So I said no. We actually doubled down on investments. Of course, we did restart the customer's line within 9 days, but what we did is we actually doubled down and made a plant that was even bigger and better. The advice at that time was disintegrate, make smaller plants, do the investment in a small manner. I said no against all odds, and today not only is that plant full, it's actually our showcase plant here.
Any advice to all the young women out there who are fighting stereotypes on a daily basis?
I think we need to stop fighting stereotypes. We need to just be ourselves. Haters will be haters. Let them hate. It's their problem, not ours. It's for them to fight the monsters that they have in their head, not ours. We got to just believe in ourselves, believe in our ability, and go out there and do what we have to do.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.